Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Mike, and today we're going to talk about trucking. Today we're going to talk about the end, and the end consists of finding a good company and building longevity. Today we're going to talk about finding a good company, and what I mean by a good company is, like your prestigious, those high-paying trucking jobs. The ones that start out about 65,000, you end up making about 100,000. Those elusive trucking jobs that nobody can get unless you know somebody on the inside, or you have a special type of talent, special training. I'm gonna show you guys how to get those jobs. Little do you know, those trucking companies are hurting for drivers. But hey, man, they try not to show it because they got this reputation to uphold, and a lot of times there's corporate pride involved, and mainly they do a very thorough application process. Your average trucking job paying 40,000 up to about 40,000 a year. Their application process is pretty simple. You know why? They're very desperate for drivers, and they want drivers to fill those trucks as soon as possible. Whereas the prestigious type company, the higher end company, they got the money to wait out for the driver that fall right in their parameters, right inside the requirements that they have set in place. They have the time to wait that out, whereas the other companies, they don't have that time. They got to get the driver in that seat before that truck payment is due next month. So that's a big reason why you always see the higher end companies. Hey man, they'll take 6 months to hire, to find that driver that they're looking for. You want to set yourself up with those requirements that those higher end companies are looking for, so that when they do come looking for drivers, all you have to do is put your application in, man. You'll be hired just like that. The one weakness a lot of trucking companies have is the fact that they are hurting for drivers just as much as the smaller companies. It's a weakness that every trucking company have, but more so with the high end type trucking companies, because hey, they create their own driver shortage in a way, because they turn away so many drivers. Drivers themselves, they can sometimes be the cause of not getting hired in some of these companies. A lot of them, they got these self-esteem issues. You think that, hey, you can't be hired at a trucking company because they might have a bad driving record, or a lot of times they have really bad credit. Other problems, man. Just things that they think are big hurdles. And a lot of times this is just not the case. In the particular case of having a bad driving record, if you don't have no more than about 3 points, you can more than likely get on with a lot of these jobs, especially if you got a lot of the other issues taken care of as far as the credit, or even your work history. A lot of these companies, they'll give you a pass just based on that. I mean, in particular, I remember I had about 4.5 points at one time. This is a short story, okay? I had about 4.5 points in my life, so I had to stop driving because of those points. And it got to 4.5. Nobody will hire, particularly because of those points. So took a year off. Not about 8 months off. I had to become a security guard. So my pay went from $1,300 a week down to about maybe 300, even on a week where I worked a lot of hours. I had to bite the bullet, man. So what I had to do, I had to wait for a little while and let the year go by, and let the first few points drop off. As soon as I knew I had to, give up for that year, I started dropping applications I dropped applications at a couple of companies. But it got to the point where I had to go get unemployment. And I found out at unemployment that they'll retrain you for, another career. And at that time I said, well, I knew my trucking career was over because, I had those points, all right? So what I did was ask them about the retraining, and the one criteria they had was you had to go and apply for 10 jobs and get turned down by those 10 jobs before they could train me. So what I did was I started applying at all the jobs that I knew wouldn't hire me. I mean, the prestigious trucking companies. Went to Arco Fuel, I went to Union 76 Fuel, I went to Chevron Fuel, Praxair, a bunch of Teamster companies. I mean, I said, look, I know they're not going to hire me because, I was always under the impression that, hey, they don't hire guys with a lot of points. I brought the list back of all the people I wanted to go apply for to the unemployment office. Within a week, all those companies started calling me back. I mean, they wanted to hire me right then and there. And I think I had about 3 points at the time. And that's when I found out all these companies were self-insured. They're able to insure me just to get a driver on. That's the specific purpose of them being self-insured. The smaller companies won't hire you because the insurance company dictates the hiring and the firing. Rest assured, you get those points below 3 points, you'll get that high-paying job if you apply for it. And if your work history is nice and solid and consistent, you'll definitely get that job.